Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen. Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, for another jam-packed daily cryptocurrency market update. If you are new around here and finding yourself on my channel for the first time today, don't forget to check out that subscribe button, because we are dedicated to dropping an update just like this one every single day around 1 p.m. UK time to help you guys stay up to date with the latest and greatest things happening within the crypto space, but also the broader markets, and that is exactly what we're going to be doing in this video. There is no chill for Bitcoin at the moment, and actually what I want to do, of course, is take a look at how our plan is playing out, and it is playing out. But we always talk about how marvelous and wonderful we are and how accurate we constantly are on the markets. What I want to do, I'm trying to say all that without a smile on my face, what I want to actually do in this video is show you somewhere where we've actually been very wrong. Even though we were looking at getting back into Bitcoin at the 15, 16K range, or price, we are predominantly in altcoins because I think altcoins will eventually outperform Bitcoin, but Bitcoin has really been the star of the show, and we've got Bitcoin dominance. We haven't got that trade perfect, and Bitcoin dominance is still being persistently strong, and Bitcoin dominance is going to essentially signal when altcoin or alt season happens. And I want to look at that in this video and look at how historically Bitcoin dominance has played out in relation to the total cryptocurrency market. So we're going to do that towards the end of the video. We'll look at the Bitcoin price, talk about the fact the UK economy is now in a technical recession, having had this morning a minus 0.3 print for the last quarter of 2023. This is two consecutive negative quarters. That's the definition of a recession. I actually thought it was going to come out higher, but we'll be talking about that, bringing the dollar into it. Where we've got to start, though, and we've absolutely got to start here, is with Gary Gensler's appearance on CNBC yesterday and some of the things that he said. He spoke about an Ethereum spot ETF. He spoke about Bitcoin and called it centralized, and actually said it's a lot more centralized than people think it is. We're going to start there. We'll play the clip. It's about 4 minutes long. We'll give some commentary on it, and then we'll dive into the rest of what we've got to cover today. Bitcoin, altcoin season, Bitcoin dominance, UK economy, and anything else that we think is of interest. So let's start with a clip from CNBC, which Gary Gensler appeared on yesterday.
You've seen the comments, right? It's not just that he closed down, that he would say it's used by drug dealers and used by folks who are doing all sorts of illicit and terrible things. There's very few things that trade today that people talk about like that. Now, there are obviously frauds and things that happen, but maybe not like this.
Like the dollar is like 100 times more.
Well, I know that's your perspective, but I'm just I'm curious how you think about that.
That's true, though. This is how much has been money laundered with Bitcoin. This is how much. This is Bitcoin. This is dollar.
Yes, Joe. Look, here's the Jamie Dimon quote. The only true use case for it is for criminals, drug traffickers, money laundering, and tax avoidance. I know, but we have a guest.
That's his opinion.
We have a guest, Joe. What is your opinion? And what is your opinion that we have something trading on the exchange for the public that has this type of use case, at least as described by the president of one of the largest financial institutions in the country?
It's the leading market share in ransomware, and that's publicly known.
Right.
It's the token of choice for ransomware. Joe, if I can say, the U.S. dollar, the euro, the yen, you have the whole society using it as a medium of exchange. We buy our cups of coffee, as I see here. Right. We get paid in dollars or yen or euro. And you have a whole central bank and support for one currency generally per economic region. That we don't have here. So there is a very real economic difference.
So just to interject very quickly, there is really no... I don't know how we move away from the dollar. The dollar's got literally a death grip over everything, over the global economies. We do see with BRICS and of course China and things like that moving away from it. That there isn't at the moment. I don't think Bitcoin would work as practically as a money. I don't, without layer twos and introducing centralized parties to it. It hasn't got the ability to expand and contract to fit economic situations, which of course is one of the benefits of Bitcoin. But think about its physical application, or not physical application as a money. I'm not convinced that Bitcoin would be a great money. I think it's an amazing store of value, but perhaps not a money. Let's look at what Gary Gensler has to say about Bitcoin being centralized, because this is interesting.
Part of the attraction, since it's decentralized, and you can't have a profligate central bank.
It's not that decentralized, Joe.
Well, I know you're saying because of the ETFs, but really it is.
No, it's not
DeFi
that decentralized,
and everything.
because look how finance tends towards centralization since antiquity.
Right.
So what do we have? We have a handful of 3 to 6 core so-called crypto
I understand, but the
exchanges.
asset itself, the way that
That's
the
how the
distributed
accounting
ledger, right? That's how the ledger. And
now, how many times do you have people on this show that say, "I want to invest in something because how the books and records are kept"? I mean, Joe, really? It's just an accounting ledger. A clever.
it's a ledger that
Satoshi
everyone
Nakamoto
has,
did
that everyone has, and can't be double counted. It's almost immutable. That's why people think it has inherent
So you
value.
trust it more than an Oracle database, or you trust it
I
more
trust
than
it more than a lot of
trust
the Bitcoin bulls say they trust it a lot more than the central bank that enables the fiscal authorities to spend money to the tune of $33 trillion.
That's everybody's investment choice, but
Gary Gensler brings up some interesting points. This guy's not an idiot, by the way. We might not like him because of how poorly he's tried to regulate the crypto space. It will eventually get over that hump. They both kind of have a point. You know, the dollar with its $3 trillion debt, fiats are just debt-based systems. And Gensler's also calling out some genuine points here. You know, I'm not a Bitcoin maxi. I love Bitcoin. It's what got me into this space. I initially heard about it back in 2012 when you had the whole Ross Ulbricht thing. But the Bitcoin maxis, and we're going to get a classic Bitcoin maxi or a Bitcoin bull reply here to the whole thing in just a second. They're not the smartest people in the room, I don't think. Let's dive into it.
Then I think about how many things can be used in a deleterious way. Of course, but that has nothing to do with the underlying thing that you're using itself. I mean, I can go run a car into a parade and run over 40 people. That doesn't mean we shouldn't have cars, does it?
No. You should have cars.
I wasn't going to use guns because, God, I don't want to trigger, so to speak, anyone on the set. But
when the use case of a particular thing that you're buying and selling as an investment is just speculative investment.
How many of the 90% of the people that own Bitcoin are using it for ransomware? There must be another use case that makes it so attractive to so many people.
Speculative investing.
Right, speculative investing. That's what. Okay, let me ask a separate question, which is just to pivot this because I think the next sort of order event question is what happens to Ethereum. For those in the crypto world, they all want to know how you're thinking about that. And really, if Ethereum is a security, how does that analysis differ from how you would think about Bitcoin?
What we did in January was cabin to one set of filings. We have other filings. You're absolutely right in front of us, but I'm not going to prejudge it for you or the audience. That's something that a 5-member commission discusses.
Very interesting. I thought, just given how significant Gary Gensler actually is to the crypto space, he's the guy with the keys to unlocking the altcoins in a similar way that we've seen, certainly to institutional flows, to a similar way to what we've seen Bitcoin. I thought that was interesting. I thought he brought up some actually okay points. I don't agree with Gary Gensler on most things, but I thought he highlighted some things, and I think that you can see the kind of Bitcoin response, maxi bull response there of, oh, well, if I had a car and drove it into people, or how many shares are you sat on, and that's why you should be bullish on Bitcoin. But we are bulls on Bitcoin. Let's talk about the price. Let's go straight over to the price action. You can see this is where we're currently at. And this has followed our plan absolutely spectacularly. Small head and shoulders gave us the 42K. Then we've got the broader head and shoulders that you've now broke on volume. Not on this exchange, which is, of course, Coinbase. But if you look at the volume that you're seeing in regards to the ETFs, so I'll just bring up a few very quickly. So Grayscale, you can see the volume that you've got here. Obviously, a very different chart. Even if you look at things like IBIT, which is BlackRock's, you can see the sort of volume that you're seeing. Certainly an uptick. Biggest volume day on IBIT, or biggest volume week. Not sure about the day. A couple of days ago was it? And you can see the gap that you've got here. I don't think gaps are going to get closed like they will for the stock market because Bitcoin is a 24-hour market. So we are bulls. We continue to be bullish. We were some of the first to get on it. All the bears are kind of pivoting at this point after literally being horrifically wrong for as long as they have been, but that's the nature of the beast. Just stick to the plan. This is the plan. Altcoins will have their day in the sun. Now, we were expecting Bitcoin dominance to roll. It's not done that. It is now looking to potentially take out this high and possibly go even higher. And we want Bitcoin dominance to roll to not only support our bull case for the markets. So if we look at a historical look at Bitcoin dominance, which is in the Japanese candlesticks and the total market cap, you can see in a bull market, Bitcoin dominance rolls, and in a bear market, it climbs. Bull market roll, bear market climb. And actually, the interesting thing here is that if you look at what point Bitcoin dominance really harshly rolls, you can see actually quite a bit of the bull up until this point here had actually taken place, and then it rolls. Potentially, you could even throw pre-halvening. Let's take a look at the Brave New Liquid Coin Index in this. But just to show you this, so again, bull, Bitcoin didn't start to, or Bitcoin dominance didn't start to roll till here, till quite late on in the bull cycle. Same thing again. We got the price of Bitcoin insanely right. We've done very well out of altcoins, but we did get the Bitcoin dominance trade, I think, wrong. I think we should have potentially or could have been in Bitcoin and now pivoting into altcoins. But you live by the sword, you die by it. We're not perfect. We don't claim to do so. And you can see similar things playing out today. So when we're going to get this roll for Bitcoin dominance, I don't think you're far off it. And this could be it. But you take these highs, you are looking at potentially running a little bit higher, maybe to the sort of 56 sort of range, 56%. But I do think that Bitcoin dominance isn't far off rolling. And if we look at something like others dominance, we are still waiting for this to play out. And you can see it is around that support. We just need to see this bounce. This means the top 10 are going to 20% of the market cap. Let's look at the Brave New Liquid Coin Index actually and Bitcoin dominance and see if Bitcoin dominance typically rolls post or pre-halvening. We don't want this on the NASDAQ. Here we go. Put it on a monthly chart and let's bring Bitcoin dominance in. So this is our 4-year cycle theory chart. And we'll just look at the past two. Bitcoin dominance. Okay, so you can see that actually Bitcoin dominance typically rolls or starts to roll. This is rather interesting. Post-halvening. So it typically will rally into the halvening and roll post. So we'll see what happens. We still are majorly in altcoins against Bitcoin, but we'll see what looks to take place. We've also got something interesting taking place with Ethereum versus Bitcoin, but that's for another video. So Altseason, we don't think it's too far along, but the star of the show really at the moment is Bitcoin. Very quickly, a little bit of macroeconomic news. Obviously today you had, and let's show you this on Forex Factories, the GDP for the UK, it came out at minus 0.3. I actually thought this was going to be flat or positive, just like we saw in Euro, but this means that the UK is now officially in a recession. The market, of course, to watch on this is the dollar. Remember, we want the dollar to roll. We have a broader thesis on the dollar that aligns with our broader thesis on Bitcoin, or our macro outlook, I should say, on Bitcoin. Macro just meaning big time frame. Dollar's being persistently strong. We'll see what happens here. This target got ran. You can see our rest and sort of supporting on it. We'll see if it continues to climb. Certainly take out this high. Then we're looking at potentially something else. But I think that the Bitcoin's going up at the same time as the dollar and the stock market, and that's kind of adverse to the general trend of the dollar up, risk down. But I think the reason the dollar's being strong is different reasons in regards to internal monetary policy, i.e. what the Fed's going to do with rate hikes. It's now more the kind of Forex landscape. So the dollar versus the euro, the dollar versus the pound, and we're getting a lot worse news for, worse news for the likes of countries that have their own currencies that are against the dollar in the Forex market than we are the US. And I think that's kind of factoring in why that correlation is a little bit, there are anomalies. That's really all I've got for you guys. Always a pleasure to talk to you. We hit 60,000 subscribers today, which is huge. Big thank you to each and every one of you supporting me day in and day out. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.